one of 3 women in the semester, and we were the first group that had so many women.
Wow.
So it was quite a process to be accepted for these studies. You had to put in like drawings, and then it was 3 days of assessment. And on one of these days, I felt good about myself. I knew I was prepared. It was assessing skills like drawing, but also logical thinking, technical abilities. So on one of these days, I heard one of the professors, and there were only male professors at the time in that studies, in that field, saying, oh yeah, you know, but women, they can't think in a technical way. So yeah, they will never be as good as industrial designers as men. And of course, that did something to my self-confidence in that moment. I still achieved what I came there to achieve, and I did my studies, and I finished cum laude, but I still felt like this, and it was, sorry to say, old white man, he put us into a corner, and he put us into a space where it was harder to move out of. Because when you hear that, it makes you smaller, it puts you down, and it takes even more strength to say, and I will still prove you wrong. So I did, I proved him wrong, and of course by now time has passed, and it's 50-50 in this field of studies, industrial design. But I still see that in different fields, that there is a kind of understanding, oh, women are not as good as that. Nowadays, it's not okay to say it out loud anymore. But having worked at Accenture, for example, or Infosys, which is both companies in the IT field, in very technological sectors, and yes, we do have women on top. The American or global lead and the German lead, they are both women. But when I look at who are the managing directors, it's 85% men still. And they do have programs within these big corporations to bring women more into leadership. I myself was a lead, having initiatives like leading ladies' lunches, where we invite younger analysts and consultants to learn from senior managers or managing directors who have made it to the top. How did you do it? But I didn't, in that room, I didn't see any male allies. And I feel we're creating then a table of women only, a bit like now, instead of giving a seat to the women at the table that is the important table. So it needs to be a balance. I think we need things like this, where we can speak out and say, okay, look at us. We are business women, we are founders of companies, we are doctors, and really multiple talented people. So yes, we want to be role models for younger women. And that's why we founded Inspiring Girls, the NGO, to bring women like us and you in the audience into schools and show girls of 10 to 15 years old, you can be anything you like. You can be an industrial designer, you can be a mathematician, you can be an IT specialist, you can be a founder of a company. So yeah, I think we still have some work to do, but by being here and being loud and being proud, we achieve part of what we came here for.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your graduation cum laude. That is, you didn't accept the limitations of women not being able to think technically. So that was your narrative that you created. Thank you for sharing that as well. And Kristina, how would you say, what was your take also on the same question, you as a woman in business and also coming from big companies?
I think it was never really easy because I come from a very conservative family. My mom, as just women in that age group did, she was studying, she was a teacher, and then she got married to a doctor, so she stopped. And that was it, and she was always convinced that that is the right way. And actually, the day when I did my PhD, I came home, and her first question wasn't congrats, her first question was, and when am I going to become a grandmother? And that's just like, no, but they always wanted me to go the academic way to achieve everything, because that is just like something to brag with. But then like, okay, the next piece was missing. And then I think for me it was an important day, because I was just like, what the fuck? Is like, today I start thinking of what I want. And I did not do all this just now to become a mom. One day it will happen, but just like not now. And then when I actually was pregnant at the age of 35, it took me some years because I had a lot of to do before that. I always had like those two voices in my head. It was in my time at Nike, and actually I was celebrated for being pregnant. Because, okay, we need to make sure that this works. Because we first have, like, we have a director here, and she is pregnant, and so this needs to work out. I had all the support that I needed. And then my next boss came to me and he asked me, Kristina, do you know someone who wants to lead the FIFA World Cup in Russia? And I said, when does it start? And he said, April. And I said, in April I'm back, it's me. I was 6 or 7 months pregnant. I think I was just full of hormones. And it was really cool because he said, yes, we do that. And he was like, he completely trusted me. He said, just, yeah, okay, you'll be back. And I said, yeah, I'll be back. And so that was great to have all those supporters. But at the same time, I just like always heard my mom's voice, you're a working mom. And I think my kid was 3 months old when I went back to work. But it was in the Netherlands, they have crash on everything. It's just, it works out. It's not like here in Berlin. So I had all the child support and everything that I needed. But it was always, I think I read every study out there about kids of working moms. If they will have difficulties and problems later on in their lives. If you just want to know, I know all the facts. And I just at some point, and I don't know if that is true, I read that actually children of working moms are better in their speech. Because, and I found that logical, because working moms speak differently with their children. And I experienced the same thing as sometimes when I pick up my kid, he's now 8 years old, from school, I forget to switch. I'm still like in my business language, so he just like gets confronted with all those words. And then he speaks back to me. He now has them in his language as well, and he knows how to use them because he always hears that. And he sometimes, when he's sick, he was 2 years old, and I had a presentation in front of Nike Global leadership team. They came to Berlin, and the night before I felt him getting hot and hotter. Oh, no. So I wrote to my boss, okay, you have a choice. Somebody else presents, or it's me and I bring the kid. So he said, it's you and you bring the kid. I was then standing there with a 2-year-old on my arm because he didn't want to sit in the audience, but he enjoyed it. He liked the people, and I was presenting like this, and it was really nice because everybody was making photos of this is how it's supposed to be, and it always worked out. I just brought him before he went to school, when he was still in kindergarten, when I had to travel during the week. I took him with me. Sometimes we took a nanny. Sometimes in some cities there's just kindergartens where you can just bring a kid for 1 or 2 days. Oh, and that's amazing. Practical. Yes, that is really cool. And he liked that. And from every city he now has his favorite food and his favorite everything. And he's really good at talking to grown-ups. He isn't afraid because he's always been part of it. And I think I just did it. It's just like, okay, you want to have this meeting, sorry, it's just not possible in any other way. He's here. No, we're not going to have a dinner tonight. It's my kids' time. And I learned to say no, and people accept if you say no. You just have to do it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for raising the next generation of professionals and for doing it so well and for just doing it. Isn't that Nike's logo?
That is Nike.
So thank you for just doing it. Yes, please, Katrin.
If I may comment, yeah, I was also going to say you incorporated that slogan.
Very nice.
And I totally agree. I also just did it, and at times it was hard. But I also want to make it known that this adds another layer of toughness to what we need to achieve. because I have a father for my kids who is very engaged, a very loving father, and still my boys are now almost 13 and almost 17, and he still cooks for them lunch each day, and still the mental load is largely carried by me. I remind him of you have to take the kids to the doctors or things like that, because I'm better at that. And I was asked by clients when I went to the client side, so what do you do with your kids while you're here? My male colleagues never were asked that, not once. And I was always asked, up to the point where I was so annoyed by this question that I said, what do you think? I put them in the cellar and I come to, have fun with you, because I just couldn't take the question anymore. But it is a reality that as parents, you have an extra layer of work, of mental load, and it's still not normal that parents share this equally. And so often you're tasked more with it. And of course, things are changing. It's already much better than 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I started with my first boy. But it is a reality, and we should take that into account.
Thank you very much. And also, thank you for opening that perspective again, what's normalized in our society and what's not. And the load is for both parents, right? And we need to come together collectively there as well. Yeah. Milada,
just to add to that, the reason why things are changing, and probably some of you will actually start also changing your approach, is that talking, right? Because I think if we don't talk about these challenges that we are facing, they're unknown to many, right? And I'm sure that some of the things that our male colleagues are actually going through, if they're not talking to us, if they're not open, or if my husband is not going through it, I would know. So let's keep the communication flowing.
Absolutely, yes. Anastasia, please.
I would also like to add, so I don't have kids yet. Hopefully I will one day, but who knows. But I am a daughter of a working mom. And I think I'm pretty good at talking because it got me so far. Well, German and English are not my first languages, so I'm from Russia. Russian is obviously my mother tongue, although now I speak a lot in English. I don't even know why not German. But what I want to say, something resonated with me, what you said about your son, Kristina, that you talk to him like still with the business language, right? He just has to get used to it. So my mom and my grandmother are both working women, and my grandmother is like 85 years old and still working. She is a psychiatrist and she treats dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And my mother is a psychiatrist who treats autism for young kids, so young and older. And I remember when we were growing up, they would always talk about some kind of case that they had. And it was all the time the medical language. And I think now I can really follow a lot of these things. And I never became a doctor or studied medicine, but it really is cool because it develops you in a different way. So I think just one more thing I want to add. We are talking about all of the things that others are telling us, like, oh, well, where are your kids? So you're here, and why are you not with them, or something like this. I of course, I'm not able to respond to this because I've never lived through this yet. But I think maybe these people are not asking these questions in a bad way. It's just something that they have seen throughout their life, and they're just like, it's normal for them. So I think maybe the good and constructive way of going about it is just tell them like what it is for you, and maybe not take it in a way that they're trying to say, oh, you're a woman, you need to take care of your kids. Of course, I understand that it can get really annoying when a lot of people are asking you the same questions every day. So I get it why that can be kind of rubbing against your feathers, so to say. But I also just think that we need to focus on our own thing, like what you did, Kristina, and what you did, Katrin. Like, you just did it. You just said, okay, well, that's my life. That's how I want to do it. And I'm not going to ask anyone else how I should do it. I'll just do it my way. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? And not what others say and what others tell you what you can or cannot do. Just do your thing and go with the flow and see. And I'm sure there will be help in a way that you need it. At least that's how it was for me, and I guess for you as well.
Thank you very much for the take. And as you said, Katrin, it's so important that we have these places where we can speak openly and we can also have a dialogue, as you also mentioned, Milada. So thank you very much. I would like to give you the stage for one last remark before we open our dialogue and have the young people and other old generations to ask the questions. Maybe entrepreneurs, people from organizations, whatever. But I would like to give you guys the stage to have a final remark before we open the dialogue. Please, anyone who would like to start. Maybe this time we can start with you, Kristina. You've been waiting the whole time.
Yeah, for me, what I see what has happened over the past years is that actually how we lead companies and the values in companies have changed, and it is changing. And when I remember when I studied, it was beginning of the 2000s, the books that we were looking at, and the management books were The Art of War and Machiavelli and what is it, von Clausewitz, a Prussian general, and that was how you do strategy because it's war. And in consulting we told war stories, and I just think that wasn't an environment where I would have liked to be a leader, because I really hate war. I don't think it's a good thing. And I don't want to go to war every day. And it's also not war paint I'm putting on. And I like that now the narrative has changed. It's like the books that are out there are about communication. It is about a legacy you want to leave behind. And it's about having a purpose and sustainability. And I think this environment and these leadership styles is really open up a way where not only women, because there's just like all kinds of women out there, as well as there's all kinds of men out there,
Absolutely.
But that just makes it more diverse in terms of personalities that actually lead companies, and that help us to get from just like this short term, we need to maximize profits, to let's create something. Let's create something and also make what is best for like the globe, for everyone, to just like really find good solutions. And I think that is there's a lot of shit happening at the moment, but that's a good development that is going on.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing out the positive. Thank you.
I'd love to build up on that, because that's also what I see in my consulting practice. Almost in every context, I feel that it has already changed. They're not talking so much about war rooms and war stories. And at the same time, I also still see a struggle between the command and control, Tayloristic approach to leadership. I tell you what you do, and then I will control you later. That is still going on a lot, especially in large organizations that are very hierarchical. And I see an urge of the people, also on middle management levels, to change that. And we teach a lot of leadership concepts that are more moving the command and control stance to a target, together with the one that you employed. Target what is your goal, your outcome that you intend, then trust, because you did hire them and you are paying them for the job, so you could give them a bit of trust for a while, and then track. Do that often and early, tracking together with the one who did the job, and see, are we getting closer to our goal or not? So it must be in business, it must be about profit, otherwise a business cannot survive. But it's not just the short-term maximizing profit, but it is really investing in the people, in the employees, and investing in, like you so wonderfully said at the beginning of your speech, investing in the people you want to serve, your customers, and really investing in getting to know them, and thus making the world just a tiny bit better, while maybe getting a profit in. So Target, Trust and Track, it's also a book I'm writing about getting from command control to Target, Trust and Track. And I feel it is a movement that is really widely spread already.
Thank you. So we all will stay tuned for your book to come out then. Thank you very much.
Might take a while.
Thank you, Milada, please.
To continue, I think you got a solid, let's say, approach how companies have been, let's say, approaching and what has changed recently. But my message to the younger generation is whether you are studying or just entering the workforce, be a role model, right? Be a role model for the colleague next to you, be a role model for a friend that is in need, and I actually highlighted two things, right? Be a role model in your organization, wherever you are, and work on the inclusive leadership in your company, in your school, to be part of the culture, right? Because if you have a culture that promotes diversity, that promotes inclusivity, then that's the way how you grow up in your profession as well. Find a mentor. I think mentorship at an younger, let's say, or early stages of your profession are crucial. So find that role model who you can look up to and really get the best out of. And especially if you find somebody who is good, hold on to it, because as you grow into your profession or you decide to go into the entrepreneurial, let's say, world, you will need your network. So start building your network from today on, and be out there, be seen, talk to people. Don't always stay in the same group, meaning that same-minded, like-minded people. Try to actually get out of your comfort zone, because all of you today are actually building the world that we're going to live in the future.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and that very beautiful. Thank you, Anastasia, please.
I would love to say that it's really cool. I didn't know you were writing a book, and I think it's amazing how these ideas that you're saying, you both mentioned. Milada, I'm sorry, I was not referring to what you said, but I also agree with what you said. Well, it's just a comment that. Yeah, the world is changing from, I guess, the war thing, and I think we can also see current wars are not successful, and I think this is because of the way that people are changing their mind about doing business together as well. So, but let's not talk about this. Just one thing I want to say what I'm excited about in the future. So we all have our own businesses. I do have my own, and I think very soon we will share the news about closing the round, hopefully. But one more thing I'm also excited about is I would really want to create a TV show about how women-led businesses are building their startups. So it's like a reality show where you would have like 10 weeks, and every week there's like 10 teams, and then they're doing some stuff, and then at the end there is an investment. And I think it would be so great, because this is where we could see this different way of collaborating, and this different way of track, but trust and target, trust and track, yes, where it could be done. Because I think it would be really cool to watch how people are building something like that. So that's just something I would love to work on at some point. Yeah, thank you for having us here, and it was a pleasure. And thank you everyone who has been listening to us. It's very nice to be here, and we're looking forward to your questions if you have any.
Thank you very much.
And if I may, just one thing, because Maura was invited to speak in this context. Yeah. And she then said, okay, I will speak, but I will bring other women with me to share the stage, and for me that's role modeling too, and sharing
Thank you very much.
The limelight, kind of. So that's a real role model for me. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you very much for being here for this today. And just to add on what you said, Anastasia, when you pitch your idea to Netflix, you have a great jury here, right? So
please, female entrepreneurs, if I may.
So that's good. So in case anyone knows anyone at Netflix, just give Anastasia the link. So thank you very much. So thank you very much for the great words, for the inspiration, and also for the positive outlook that you gave us, because of course it's not always a good or fun topic to talk about. Many things you touched upon, but I like that this was very positive, and also that you touched upon a lot of things that we can do practically, that you are already doing, and we can all be a role model, as you said, for the person next to us. And you said, Katrin, very beautifully, that it's sometimes not going to change the entire world, but one small thing, and if we can do that, that's really great. So thank you very much for that. So thank you to our participants.